There is a thing that is distinctly in place. We're finally here. Why would they put the detective so far away from the prosecutor's office? That took almost 30 minutes by taxi, and traffic wasn't even that bad. This is my first time to the police department, actually. Hold on. What's that? Disturbing. Why does it undulate like that? Oh, wait, I know. This is the Blue Badger. They're trying to make him the police mascot. Wow, Mr. Wright. You know a lot about the police department. Still, he does seem familiar somehow. Forget the Blue Badger. Who's that next to him? Someone appears to be dancing with the Blue Badger. Uh-oh, he noticed me. He sure is running over here fast. Hey, pal! What are you doing here? That's my line, Detective Gumshoe. Specifically, why were you dancing over there? What? Well, at least he doesn't seem to be busy. This is our chance to get information. Hey, I'll have you know I'm a very busy man, pal. Can you stop reading my mind? I'll give you one word of advice, pal. You'd better not agree to defend the suspect in this case. Why not? Huh? Well, it's just that the chief prosecutor has confessed to the crime. She says she summoned a detective to the prosecutor's office and she killed him. But what if she's not telling the truth? Yes, well... No, come on, pal. There's plenty of evidence against her. But what if the evidence is fake? Hey, pal, can I speak to you for a second? Huh? Me? Why is this little girl so peeved at me? She's a relative of the suspect. She's Lana Sky's sister. Whoa, the chief prosecutor's little sister? Please, please, investigate this case carefully, okay? Scientifically. Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, you might want to keep your voices down. You don't want to be overheard using words like faked. Huh? It's a sensitive issue with us these days. So, what are you doing here, Detective Gumshoe? Me? Oh, well, nothing really. They kicked me out of criminal affairs. Detective Gumshoe, what did you do this time? What do you mean this time? Then what happened? I know things are busy right now. I mean, with my sister's case and all. It's true. We've never had a chief prosecutor murder anyone before. Only the highest ranked people are being led into criminal affairs right now. The lowest ranking guy in there is our chief of detectives. They're not letting any of us rank and file detectives in at all. None of you? I know this is an important trial, but isn't that a little odd? So anyway, I thought I'd spend the day getting the Badger dance down pat. Isn't there anything else you could be doing? Well, the chief of police himself is directing this investigation, pal. And Officer Marshall was assigned to the underground parking lot. Officer Marshall. Now that I think about it, Ema did seem to know that Marshall guy. My voice went very funny then. A patrolman in charge of a crime scene. It's unheard of, pal! I'll bet it is. We can't move in or out. We might be able to present. Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got yesterday. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? I almost called you a professor, and that would have been very funny. Of course, pal! I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently, he's forgotten. But I was proud of Mr. Edgeworth for winning that award. He's even got naysayers in the prosecutor's office. Yeah, we've heard about the rumors. Found Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed Mr. Edgeworth's knife. What would drive Chief Prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? Wait, I didn't mean... I mean, sure, of course, someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth. The car and the knife do seem a little too well organized to be a coincidence. Yep, my voice is going. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, voice. You were gone. You have vanished entirely. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. What could have happened? We have to find out a little more about what's going on with Edgeworth. Keep presenting shit. Detective Gumshoe, what can you tell me about this? Huh? Hey pal, this is a detective's ID card. You can't just keep that, you gotta turn it into the police. It's people like you that get me into so much trouble all the time. Meaning Detective Gumshoe must drop his card a lot. Let's see. Bruce Goodman. Goodman... sounds familiar. Nah, my mistake. But don't you work together with him in criminal affairs? Whoa, now I remember! Bruce Goodman. He's the victim. That's what I thought. Can you tell us more, Detective Gumshoe? That was one strange way of getting him to talk. So, this ID card belonged to the victim. He was a detective like myself. Detective Bruce Goodman. Don't you think it's strange? I mean, why would the victim's ID card just be lying on the ground where we found it? Well, Detective Goodman should have been at the police department yesterday. There was an evidence transfer for a case he handled 2 years ago. Evidence transferal? Mr. Edgeworth mentioned that too. But Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say this, but word is that Chief Prosecutor Sky called him out there to the parking lot. And Lana's confessing as much. He's in a tough spot again. Again? Well, it all started with the murder of that defense attorney, Hammond. But Edgeworth was found innocent. Listen, pal, there have always been rumors about Edgeworth. Forging evidence, making deals with witnesses. Nothing outright, but there are always whispered rumors. Ever since he was accused of murder, no one's whispering. They're practically shouting.
But there's no evidence against him.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth has always had unusually strong ties to the department higher-ups. It's only natural that people would be suspicious. I had no idea he was under the gun. Anyway, this latest case has started a new rumor. People say the only reason he took this case is because he's aiming for the chief prosecutor position himself. What? But I know the truth, pal. Nobody wants to be the one who has to prosecute the chief prosecutor. Mr. Edgeworth is biting the bullet on this one. He's doing this for all of us.
I'm gonna tear up now because that's something. Okay, so, I was wondering about that.
What, the Dancing Blue Badger? It's my masterpiece.
You made this, Detective Gumshoe?
The chief threw together some designs and I just did my thing, pal.
Nice work.
It's battery powered so it can go anywhere. There's no switch, so it just dances until the batteries die.
Poor Blue Badger. Fated to dance until he drops. Excuse me a second. I'm gonna play the entire game like this. No, I'm not. Something like that.
And that's all I know about that. I'm not officially on the case, you know.
Thank you. Why aren't you handling the case, Detective Gumshoe? We met the guy who is. What was his name? The guy in the parking lot?
That'd be Officer Marshall. He was appointed directly by the Chief of Police.
Officer Marshall. Is he some kind of Wild West sheriff or something?
Nah, Jake Marshall's just a regular officer. From West LA.
For a moment there, I wasn't sure.
Look, pal, let me try to make things a little easier for you. Show him this, and they'll let you examine the crime scene. Maybe.
I'll be surprised if this gets us anywhere.
Just act like you're supposed to be there, and nobody will look at you twice, pal.
Thank you, bro. Looks like the investigation is still going. I have to be getting back to the shop.
Sorry. Looks like I'll be stuck in this pit till the sun sleeps.
I'll see you in my dreams then tonight, baby. Oh, still here? Ah, hello! Your voice changed. Quite a surprised looks. Didn't I mention? I've got a boyfriend in criminal affairs, too.
What happened to the security guard?
Hey, what's wrong, Bimbina? You're looking like a doggy that's lost its herd. Jake Marshall. Strange guy to put in charge of a crime scene. There's something I wanted to ask you. The scene of the crime. A cold grave for men who've lost their dreams. And me, I watch over them as they sleep, dreaming of the desert's harsh judgment. He's asleep. Well, should we show this hopeless case something to catch his interest? How did that work? Officer Marshall, could you take a look at this?
Whoa, partner. If you're fixing to draw on me, you'd best be ready for a shootout. Ready to become food for the vultures, compadre?
Are you ready, Mr. Wright? Somehow I don't think he's going to help us. That's what I meant to click. How does that work? Would you mind reading this for me?
What's this? I warn you, fan letters to me go right in the spittoon.
It's a letter of introduction from Detective Gumshoe. May we investigate?
Gumshoe? Ah, that old cow dog. He holding a birthday party or something?
Huh?
Look, where it should say letter of introduction, it says invitation. Ah, I think he just miswrote it.
Great, Detective Gumshoe. I owe you one.
No worries. This proves it's from Detective Gumshoe. Better than a blood test. Guess I'd better let you in then.
Thank you, Officer Marshall.
Officer Marshall isn't a detective. He's a patrolman.
That reminds me of something. That is odd. Isn't a crime scene supposed to be handled by a detective or higher?
Well, folks, the clues are calling. Welcome to our gold strike. Be like the settler. Strike out for lands unknown. Manifest destiny. Let's have a hootenanny. Oh god, he is in fact American.
Note to self. Police investigations are like settling land. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? I say I won't be needing this anymore.
What's that? Some sort of police passport?
This is Detective Goodman's ID card. Strangely enough, we found it a good distance away from the crime scene.
Good distance in this rat hole? If you want distance, get yourself to Texas.
Texas?
This is a tiny little crime scene in a tiny little town with tiny little evidence. What difference does a few yards make, compadre?
Note to self. If you encounter suspicious evidence, think of Texas. There's no better way to study than to hang out with the pros.
5:12 p.m. The prospector's bright red steed came in the slow trot, real slow like. Blah blah.
A trot? My Madonna tells me that the crime occurred 3 minutes later, so it seems the chief prospector was lying in wait. Maybe waiting for her prince to ride in on his big red horse. So what you mean is the killer intended to use Edward's car all along? Either that, or they're dating, and I don't believe that. Alright, compadre, count to 3. Huh? You gotta do that if you're gonna draw evidence on someone. That's what we do in Texas. Remind me never to visit Texas. So anyway. Better. Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim? Good men always die young. Remember that, partner. Could you be a little more specific? Bruce Goodman. He was a detective, right? Well, aren't you a feisty doggy there now? Detective Goodman was stabbed here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me the tale. I think he means the witness Miss Angel's star. 1 stab to the chest, a fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report. Was my sister involved with the victim in any way? Funny you should mention that, Bambino. Chief Prospector Sky and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all. Nothing in common? They apparently worked together on a case a few years back. So, there's no motive. Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one reason why he didn't do much work with the Chief Prospector. But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here, to this parking lot. So it seems. Like calling an unarmed man to a shootout at high noon. I don't mean any offense, but Officer Marshall, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective. You calling me out? They'll shoot you for that in Texas. Huh? I was one of them fancy shoot detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth. Oh, really? Now he tells me. But you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene? Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina? So, why are you in charge? No reason. We're just shorting hands right now. I'm keeping an eye out in the meantime. That's odd, though. Detective Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do. Nothing important, at least. He's nothing but a sad old cowdog that can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, huh? Edgeworth? That cowdog's been kicked out of his cattle run by order of the chief of police. Just, you don't realize it yet. Detective Gumshoe kicked out of the investigation? Anything useful you can say? Or do we just get over here? This looks like a cell phone. Scientific analysis would suggest this belonged to the victim. I can't think of anyone else it could belong to. What's so scientific about that? Should we check it out? Right, let's check it out. Thank you. Man, what a boring strap. What's wrong with it? Everyone has different tastes, you know. Here, check out mine. It's a pink princess strap. These are hard to come by, you know. I see he's as popular as ever with the kids. That wasn't a typo. So anyway. The display is still on the redial button. Redial? Mr. Wright, most phones keep a record of all the calls you've made and received. You just press the blue button to dial the last number you called. Convenient, isn't it? I'm surprised you didn't know about it. Sorry to disappoint you, but even I know about things like redial. Huh? Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's just, you never know with people from your generation. Whatever. Let's check this phone out. Now, I wonder who the owner of this phone called last. Note to self, a defense attorney doesn't think first, he just pushes the button. Hey, that's a song. I know that. Hey, what's going on over there? Ah, oh, sorry. I see you, partner. You pressed redial on that there phone, didn't you? Well, yeah. Whose phone is this, anyway? It was on the ground over there. Whose is it? That belongs to Prospector Sky. What? It's my sister's! She apparently dropped it when she was taken into custody right after the crime. Look, the last call was made right when the murder occurred. Looks like she was fixing to call someone. Except she only spoke for a few seconds, according to this. Who did she call? No idea. Sorry, partner. Now, I got a question for you, partner. I heard a phone ring just now, one of those newfangled ringtones. Oh, that? Oh. I'm sorry, that was my phone. What? Your phone? Yeah, it's kind of strange, but someone called me right as we picked up the other phone, a wrong number. I hope you're not lying. They shoot you for that in Texas, partner. Uh-oh, I've incited the wrath of the Lone Star Patrolman. This appears to be the car where the body was found. It looks like the lock on the trunk is busted. The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. Quite a luxury car. It just screams, I have money to burn. Yeah, prosecutors get the big bucks. This rope, is it? Yep, they laid it out in the outline of the victim's body. So, wait, the victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on him. You have got to be the only person I know who will come to that conclusion. A block. This area is reserved for prosecutors. Defense attorneys are relegated to B block. I dream of the day when I'll be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright. I'm not planning on giving up my job that soon. B block is through there. That's where visitors park. I can see the lunch line car over there, far in the distance. Hey, you're right. I like the cute design on that door. I can see a cartoon cow munching down on a juicy-looking steak. Doesn't that strike you as a little creepy? Just don't think too deeply about it and you'll be fine. I'm not sure if we're actually done here or not. There's no need to push this again. What's wrong? You look like I do during finals. Never mind, it's nothing. So, there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister. That's correct, but there is a gold mine of evidence against her. And the prospector tomorrow is none other than Edgeworth himself. I'm afraid your sister's fate is decided, Bambina. Many condolences. Officer Marshall! Yeah, Bambina? How can you say that? You and my sister, you were... Is there something between this cop and her sister that I don't know about? I apologize, Bambina.
Something must have gotten to me. Maybe it's the dry wind that's blowing from the prospector's office. Dry wind or ill wind, someone's up to something here, but who? Suspicions about Mr. Edgeworth have been flying around for nearly 2 years now. Forged evidence, arranging testimonies, you name it. He was unbeatable because he did whatever it took to win. Unbeatable, that is, until he met you.
But rumors are just rumors, aren't they? These are prosecutors we're talking about. Evidence is everything to them.
If you follow the rumors about Edgeworth to their source, you find one person. But they're off limits. Untouchable, you might say. One person? Who? Ema, it's your sister. Chief prospector Lana Sky.
What? My sister?
Edgeworth couldn't wrestle all those cattle by himself. Some people load their guns with bullets, some people load them with deals.
What, you're saying Edgeworth was making deals to win trials?
Where there's gunshots, there's bound to be bullets. That's what the old-timers say. There's a big old secret hidden around here somewhere. Everyone knows it.
Is that why Detective Gumshoe was taken off the case? Did they target him because he was closest to Edgeworth? My sister's cell phone.
The last time it was used was 5/18, right after Goodman was killed. Maybe she was canceling her date for the night.
Why did Lana make that call?
Yeah, toy shield. Suits the boy well. What exactly could you shield with that? A toy knot, maybe?
Officer Marshall, don't you have anything good to say about Mr. Edgeworth?
You don't like him, right? We get the point. You know, when I was a detective, I got one of these.
Let me guess. Did it have a K for King of Detectives on it?
Hey, they could use the same shield over and over.
Note to self, the prosecutor's office in criminal affairs is surprisingly cheap.
You know it. They've gotten cheaper with every passing year, I tell you. What's this? It looks like a note of some sort. Well, that's a surprise.
Look, something's written on it.
What the hell was this? You're right. Let's see. 67S122.
There's a name printed on paper above that. Goodman.
Maybe it fell out of his pocket when he was killed.
Well, so, what does it mean, Mr. Wright?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
Note to self, for deductive reasoning, go to Edgeworth, not Wright.
I'm sure Edgeworth wouldn't know what this means either.
So, how well are we doing, Mr. Wright?
I guess we've got some clues. We have an autopsy report, a note from the victim, and a cell phone.
So, you think we'll be okay?
Well, the only thing still bothering me is that Lana's confessing to the crime. She says she did it.
No problem. I can guarantee that she's not the criminal.
Oh, by the way, Ema?
Yes?
I know that song your phone plays when it rings.
What?
It's the Steel Samurai theme tune, isn't it? That popular TV show for kids? The phone that just rang wasn't mine. It was yours. At 5:18, just after the murder took place, your sister called you, didn't she, Ema?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell me what you talked about?
She hung up right away.
I see. A detective is murdered, and the suspect is the top prosecutor in the district. I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, maybe I still don't know everything that went on here. No shit, it is day one. I never know anything on day one.